Okay, so I talk a lot about knife training and kickboxing and martial arts. This is what I do. The other day I was riding the bus and this guy said he got stabbed in the hand with a steak knife. It went all the way through his hand, from this end to this end. I don't know what the situation was, if it was his girlfriend or if he was arguing with someone in a restaurant or whatever it is. The point I'm trying to make is that I don't know if this person was trained with a knife or not trained with a knife. I know what they used was a steak knife, so it didn't matter if it was a karambit, it did not matter if it was an army knife, it did not matter if it was a knife designed specifically for combat or war or self-defense. What matters is it did its job. The blade will do the work. That's what I tell my students. Whatever blade you have, if it's sharp and if it's sturdy enough, and if you have a good handle on it, the blade will do the work. Whether it's a karambit, whether it's a utility knife, whether it's a kitchen knife, a steak knife, whatever the knife is, the blade will do the work if it's sharp and the knife is enough for you to hold in your hand. People talk about blade length. I don't know what length is the best, but I know if it's a longer knife, a bigger knife can do more damage. A shorter knife generally does less damage. A smaller knife generally does less damage. As I mentioned before, knives are primarily for thrusting. If you want to seriously harm or injure or kill your opponent, it's a thrust. You can seriously cut, injure, and kill your opponent with slashes also, but primarily the best way to use a knife for weapons is a thrusting motion. The slash and the cuts are to set up the thrust. You can go directly for the thrust, you may miss, so you need to have the backup movements of slashing and cutting to set up the thrust. Now, people say, how do you hold the knife? How do you grip the knife? Basically, for me, there's two ways to hold it, two grips. Standard grip, you can hold it this way, fingers like a fencing sword, or you can hold it like a hammer. Either way, you can thrust with it, you can cut with it, you can slash with it. I like the fencing grip for me, with my students, just because it gives me more maneuverability, more angles, more positions, more chances to evade and move and attack, because we're practicing, we're training. It's not life or death. So you get all the time in the world to practice your moves and your angles and your positions, and because we're not cutting each other and not killing each other, we can just take those slashes and cuts and thrusts and keep on trucking, keep on moving. The other way is the reverse grip, fist down or blade down towards the ground. And again, you can move and you can thrust, but I find this to be limited in reach for my opponent. If they're gripping this way and I'm gripping this way, they tend to have the reach advantage and the angle advantage and maneuverability advantage. Again, either grip is fine. The blade will do the work. Yeah, you actually are the weapon, but the blade will do the work for you. It doesn't take a lot to cut or slice or thrust or do damage to the human flesh. The blade will do the work for you. And as I said before, it's very simple to attack. The attack is simple. The difficult part is the defense, is the defending and not getting cut. That's pretty much it for that. It's just I want to basically express the fact that it doesn't matter what kind of knife you have. If it's sharp and you can hold it and you can grip it, it can do the damage for you. Two, the grip is up to you. Again, it depends on the situation. It depends on if they have a weapon or if they have a knife, if they have a gun. Everything is situational. So you have to go from that, talk to your instructor, practice with your friends, do whatever. Another thing is, you don't need to be in a school to train. You can train and practice and use your own self-awareness and your own common sense. You can get friends together and practice. Defense, offense. I think the most effective means is defense. You have to learn how to defend against a knife. Your best weapon against a knife is to run or pick up something longer than the blade that person has in their hand, because you want distance between you and that blade, between you and that individual. A long stick, a stick longer than the knife. Sticks can beat blades if the stick is long enough and if you're fast enough. So I don't believe the knife is the ultimate weapon. I think it's just easy to conceal, it's easy to carry, it's easy to transport. It's easy to have in your pocket. It's easy to use. It's easy to whip out if you have it hidden on your person. I don't think it's the ultimate best weapon. I just think it's very convenient. That's why I choose to train and work with it. Is out of convenience more than my believing it's the ultimate weapon.